Hello, assalamu alaikum everybody. Hope you're all safe, sound and healthy. And this is 2:36 a.m. to be precise, Monday morning, 21st of August. One of the ironic things about this month is 14th of August is supposed to be Independence Day, and as we know, the government actually tried to stop the public from celebrating Independence Day, which to me is a very crucial message. Even though, as I've told you previously, the public did go out, they flooded the streets, they started flooding the streets on the 13th of August, on the eve of the Independence Day, and on the 14th they had increased in numbers. So it just, the whole country came out in the streets voicing their protest, because it was not just a celebration of Independence Day, it was a protest against the illegal government. And it was an expression of solidarity with our legal representative, which is Imran Khan. So now, even more ironic is the fact that they are trying to imprison Imran Khan based on the Official Secret Act and the Army Act. Now, and yet, here's the funny thing: none of these acts exist. Yeah. So they've been lying again. So all they've done is, it's amazing. That's why I call Pakistan, the colony, the new colony of the United States of America. I mean, come on, if the British and the Americans can create a fake country such as Israel that doesn't actually exist, but is just being forced upon the world, it's an imaginary state, it's a fabricated state, it's a fake state. So, why isn't it possible for them to convert an existing state into an imaginary fabricated state? After all, they removed our legitimate government and they put in a fake government, and that fake government continued even way past their deadline. And yet, orders were still being given and still being listened to, which is something that I have constantly repeated in every single episode of mine, that on what authority are these orders being given, and on what authority are they being listened to by the judges, by the army, by the establishment? Obviously, it means the orders are being given by America, and that means that they have officially, in their own capacity, unofficially for the public, but officially for the government and the army and the establishment, they have accepted America as their government, as their master. Why else would they lie about a reform and act? As we know, they were, according to them, they had signed a lot of reforms and a lot of acts in within a week, without any debate, without any ayes or nays, and they just went ahead and got it through. And everybody was commenting on the fact that this was too quick. Never has any reform been passed like this, and yet they had passed, according to themselves, 36 reforms and these two acts. And then now comes the president, our president Arif Alvi, who states that he actually did not even sign these two acts. He did not sign the Official Secret Act and he did not sign the Army Act. And according to the Constitution, the real Constitution, not the fake Constitution that they've been trying to shove into our faces, according to the real Constitution, unless and until the president signs these acts, unless and until he doesn't stamp his approval, they do not get accepted, because the president has to give his assent, and our president did not give his assent. And because of that, these acts actually have not been passed. So how is it that they are constantly talking about these two acts, which are actually fake, and they're trying to force these acts on the courts and onto Imran Khan, when these acts don't even exist? They tried to pass the act this year, it is true, but the fact that they claimed that they have passed the act, the fact that they claimed that it is going to be implemented, this is false news, and this is a downright lie. So the fact that they're lying to us like this, that just tells us everything. you know. I think it just shows, and again, I will blame the people of Pakistan. I think silence is agreement. As we say in crime, you're a partner in crime if you're silent, if you're closing your eyes, if you're turning away, if you're burying your head in the sand, pretending that it's all going to go away, then you're basically an accomplice to the crime. So I do not understand why, when after all these efforts, finally the public had woken up and they had started coming out in the streets, why is it that they have, I mean, they've stopped. I mean, the fact that on 14th August they all came out to show that it didn't matter, and they were not scared, and that they didn't care, and that they were going to fight for their rights. I don't understand why is it that they've again taken a breather, because this is not how things are done. I think they've forgotten how we got the elections done the last time round. We sat up for nights on end for months and months and months, and while the world was busy featuring Hong Kong, and forgot and did they the world deliberately tried not to feature Pakistan, but actually Pakistan, way before Hong Kong and way past Hong Kong, the people of Pakistan were in the streets. They were flooding the streets. They were having massive rallies and peaceful protests up until we ensured that the elections took place without rigging. And even now, actually, the establishment is trying to break down Imran Khan, and that shows how stupid the establishment is and how stupid the army is. It shows how clueless they are. It shows how disconnected they are from the people of Pakistan, even though they claim to be part of the foundation, part of the root. It shows that they are basically all outsiders, and obviously because they have their wealth abroad, they live abroad, they just come here to make decisions, then they run away as soon as things go bad. So they have no clue as to anything regarding Pakistan or the people of Pakistan and how to deal with Pakistan, although they may think they do. And this is a perfectly good example. The fact that they're trying to break Imran Khan when the whole world and his wife knows that Imran Khan cannot be broken. Instead, they will have to kneel down in front of him at the end of the day. They need him. They're doing the same thing. Obviously, they're following their masters, because that is what America has been trying to do to Pakistan. America needs Pakistan. America cannot survive without Pakistan. America cannot even set foot in Asia without Pakistan. But America is always trying to subjugate Pakistan. America is always trying to train Pakistan. America is always trying to break Pakistan, so that it can completely control Pakistan, so that it can use Pakistan and set foot into Asia. Now, that is, you can see that this is the Americanization. The pattern is Americanized here by the same tactics that are being used, and by the clueless establishment and army, that they are trying to break Imran Khan because they need Imran Khan, but they don't want him to have the upper hand. They want to have the upper hand so that they can exploit the situation. But he's never going to give them the upper hand. You see, he's never going to do that. He's not going to. They have actually secretly tried to plead with him like a million times before arresting him and even after arresting him, to negotiate with them, and he has refused. And then every single time the truth got leaked, they would create a narrative. Again, this is a very American pattern here, where they started creating a narrative that no, Imran Khan has been reaching out to them. Imran Khan doesn't want to reach out to them. The whole fallout began because of the fact that Imran Khan refused to compromise. So they are reaching out to Imran Khan constantly. They have been trying to pressure him. They've tried to blackmail him. They tried to threaten his family. They're still trying to manipulate his family, in the sense that they're trying to create a narrative where they're giving everybody this this false narrative that that they're going to break him through his wife, or they're going to make his wife a state witness and this and blah blah blah. But she's not breaking either. It's as simple as that. She is standing by him as yet, just like how his first wife, Jemima, has been standing by him, and she still is standing by him, even though she's not physically here. So, I mean, that says a great deal about a man who has never talked about any of his wives. He has never made personal comments. He's never ever aired dirty laundry. He has never, issued statements against his wives. He has divorced twice. The second wife is not accepted as his wife by anybody in Pakistan because she was a planted spy. He was warned not to marry her. She was actually the mistress of Shahbaz Sharif, Reham Khan. So, she is actually not even accepted by Pakistan as his wife, but legally she was. So let's count her in. And keeping that in mind, I would say he has divorced twice. And despite the fact that the whole public of Pakistan hates Reham Khan, his second wife, who he divorced, and that they just cannot accept her because of the way, her true colors, she just showed her true colors within weeks of getting married to him. And yet, still, you will not hear a single word from Imran Khan. You've heard 1,001 words coming out from that woman's mouth. Even her own first husband actually spoke up against her, saying that, in other words, that he also had problems with her, and that she was not a reliable person, and that he would never trust her as far as he could throw her, which isn't much, right? So, so the fact that even her first husband has proved her as an unreliable person, as an untrustworthy person, and yet the person who she's been throwing dirt on, Imran Khan, he has never till date said a word against her. That says a lot about him. It doesn't say anything about her. It says a lot about him. It tells you what family he comes from, the kind of family background he belongs to, the kind of upbringing he's had, the kind of character he has. Only a man of real character, only a true gentleman, would never comment on a woman, no matter what, and even against his opponents. Now, Maryam Nawaz has produced illegitimate children left, right, and center. We don't even know who the various men are who impregnated her before marriage, after marriage, throughout. You just don't know. She's had children in Qatar, she's had children in Pakistan, she probably has a few in England, you don't know. Similarly, Nawaz Sharif he's got illegitimate children all over, you just don't know. Shahbaz Sharif and his son Hamza Sharif, very notorious for their secret marriages. Why they're keeping them secret, God knows. There is no sin in getting married, but the reason they were keeping it secret is to hide it from their then current wives. So that's why they were secret. I mean, imagine that. They're such a-holes, that whole family. If you come to Zardari, and if you go, all his children were born in jail, so Benazir was in jail, and obviously, because again, remember, Zardari, Benazir, Nawaz Sharif, Shahbaz Sharif, and their family members, whenever they were put in jail, they were never really put in jail. Okay, they were basically imprisoned in this guest house type thing, and even if they were put in jail for show for a short time, they were given all the facilities of a VIP guest, and they would always use the the office of the chief of police or the superintendent or whoever or wherever it is, depending on where they were, and they would always use the office lavishly to entertain guests, to hold meetings, and this and that. The person who is really, really in jail is Imran Khan. Okay, he is actually in jail. He is actually being incarcerated. He's the one who's in a 5 by 8 cell, where there's no space for him to even lie down properly. So this is called being incarcerated, and yet he's denied his basic human rights. He's denied visitations with his wife. He's denied visitations with his lawyers, which is extremely important because he still has cases, ongoing cases, but they're trying to ruin it all for him deliberately. The fact that they're doing all this so brazenly, so shamelessly, so pompously in front of the whole world is very obvious. It is because the world is a silent accomplice. The world, America and Britain, who are behind it all, they have told the world to turn away in the exact same way that they've told the world to turn away from Kashmir and to turn away from Palestine. But the difference here is that the Kashmiris are still fighting, the Palestinians are still fighting, but the Pakistani public, they are fighting only online. They and again, in a way, I think Imran Khan is to sort of blame for breaking that momentum, because when he was ousted, people came out. There was this leaderless surge, but he stopped them because he was afraid that there would be violence. But that violence that he was trying to stop, I keep on saying that violence that he was trying to stop, it eventually happened anyway, and it happened as a conspiracy, as an enactment by the government itself, by the establishment, after his arrest. So, what good did it do him or us? He should have allowed that surge. He should not have stopped the people when he was ousted. He should have allowed the people to just do their thing, and we would have paralyzed the whole country in 24 hours. We would have shut everything down in 48 hours, and we would have forced the establishment and the army to back off. But that time that they needed, we gave them that time by going back, by listening to Imran Khan when he said, just go back, calm down, wait for me, wait for my call, and that is what broke the momentum. And people were extremely boiling and seething and active and full of energy, and they just wanted to, go out, and they wanted to do something about it. But now, people, when they went out after he was arrested, again, because the government had already had time to perfect their plans on initiating violence so that they can control the public, and that happened. That it did affect the public in the sense that when they started targeting, 10,000 homes were broken into, and I mean literally broken into. Doors were broken down, 10,000 homes were broken into, and they were robbed by the police. About and all the major PTI members, they and their family members were kidnapped and imprisoned. Women, as we know, were raped or sexually assaulted. Children were assaulted and kidnapped. The elderly were assaulted and jailed. And it's still going on. Like on the 14th of August, when people came out, the police still try to crack down. But right now in KPK, the police have been warned to try to stay at home when not in duty, to not go out to offer their prayers, but to pray at home, and that they should stay in plain clothes, and even when on active duty, they should not wear their uniforms. So that shows how the government, the illegal government, and the establishment and the army are scared. Even the security forces have been warned not to wear the uniform because they fear public rage. They fear revenge because of what they've been doing these past 16 months. And now they're, shoving two illegal acts at our faces, lying to us. They've been lying to us from day one. We know they're lying to us. So again, I would say, as long as the people will just grumble and mumble and swear at them online, nothing's going to happen. The people need to come out with full force. They need to paralyze the country. They need to shut down the government. They need to shut down the country. There is nothing left anyway. What are people thinking they're going to lose by coming out? Everything's lost already. We have lost our country. Okay, Unofficially, we have lost our country. Look at what America did with Hawaii, and look at the repercussions. I remember when I spoke up a long time ago and I said that this is not a friendly occupation. And they can see it. Hawaii's land is being encroached on. We have got Facebook's Mark Zuckerberg right there owning half the land of Hawaii, and it's illegal. The American government is steeped in corruption, and the way they are working with elites and conglomerates and lobbyists, helping them steal land from people in Hawaii. The fire that started a few days ago. This is, I mean, it's proved now that it wasn't a natural incident, but this was actually a crime, a heinous crime committed. This was arson. And this was deliberately done because people refused to sell their lands and the insurance has refused to pay out. So, what does that tell you? That the government and the people who are encroaching upon Hawaii's land, they are out to steal the land of the locals. So much for friendly occupation from America. On the other side, America and Israel's troops trained Indian army to do the same in Kashmir, where they're stealing lands from people. And then again, they're doing the same thing in Palestine. And now now here's the difference. Over there, you've got outsiders. India is an outsider as far as Kashmir is concerned. Kashmir is not a part of India, never was. It's the Mughals that united India. India was never one. India needs to get out of that, out of that misconception, that false narrative, that false history, fake history that it keeps on rewriting. India was never one country. These were so many warring states that were always at war with each other. India was only ever united under one umbrella, very loosely united, but kept united under the umbrella of the Mughals, of the Muslim Empire, okay? And later on, the British managed to somehow continue that, although it kind of worse made the conditions a bit worse. And that is why at the end India was going to break down anyway after the British left. And even now, India is basically being extremely stupid in the way it behaves with its neighbors. Instead of establishing good relations with its neighbors, India is the bully of Asia, and India is the America of Asia. It is heavily disliked by all its neighbors, and very rightly so. The fact that it instigates terrorist activities in Pakistan. Balochistan is always a target. KPK has always been a target. Karachi, every single terrorist incident that Pakistan has had links to India. Similarly, Nepal was interfered with by India. India and China also don't get along. India has interfered with Bangladesh. So India has been interfering with all its neighbors, and India has been sending not just spies but military trained terrorists. So every single terrorism incident that has happened has had ties to India in within this local vicinity. And at the same time, India has joint you know joint terrorist groups with America and Israel, so where they actually work on joint operations, instigating terrorism in Pakistan and in other countries around, but especially in Pakistan. And the fact that India, very blatantly lies with regards to activities, terrorist activities, blaming Pakistan every single time, lying. I mean, that is exactly the same thing that you see being done here by our own establishment. Pakistan's own establishment and army, the fact that they are in cahoots with our enemies, they're in cahoots with India in that they are terrorizing their own people, they are manipulating their own people, they are violating the rights of their own people. I mean, just look at that. You've got India, an outsider violating Kashmir's rights. You've got Israel, an outsider violating Palestine's rights. But in Pakistan, it is our own. I mean, obviously, they're outsiders for us too, because as I said, these are not people who live in Pakistan. No member of the establishment, no, no colonel general of the army, no politician resides in Pakistan. They all have amassed wealth abroad. They all just come here to screw us up, to steal more from us, and then they go back abroad. Even now, they were sent by America to accomplish this task, and as you can see, they're all going to run away. Some have already run away. Bajwa's run away. Nawaz Sharif is already out. Shabazz Sharif's running away. He's going to England, which we all predicted. Zardari is never here for long. He's always running out. Mariam's never here either. She just comes to just, to blab out her bullshit, and then, once she's check marked on the agenda and she's completed her task, then she again runs away back to England. None of them live here. None of them have passports of Pakistan. They all have foreign passports. They all have dual nationalities. And they are all outsiders. But if you look at it on the outside, if you look at it generally, they're our own people, as in they are supposed to be one of us. These are people who are supposed to be in the establishment, in the army, in our government. And these are the people who are terrorizing us. But then, as you know, in fact, terrorism is originally state terrorism. The original definition of terrorism is state terrorism. We just now have sort of broad stroked it by, talking about other groups and mercenaries, and who commit terrorism. So we kind of put them all under that. But when you actually talk about terrorism, the original definition is automatically state terrorism. So here we are being terrorized by our own state. We are the state. But thanks to America, we are not the state. Outsiders are imposed on us, and they are the state, and so we are being terrorized by the state. And that is where we stand today. So we have fake laws, a fake constitution, fake courts, fake army, fake establishment, fake reforms, fake government. If that doesn't tell you that America is ruling Pakistan, I don't know what does. You just think about it. Just sit down and think about it. And this is me signing out. Khuda Hafiz.